So, hi. Welcome to FNAF test animation, for timeline. We'll test timeline list part 2. This will cover FNAF 2. And this will be a 7-part series covering the main games in the series. Well, 8-part series, anyways. This will. Now, for the things that are already explained, the by 87 already has been explained. And we know that the FNAF 2 location happens after the FNAF 1 location. After the first Freddy Fazbear's location, but before the FNAF 1 location. And we know that the FNAF 2 location is closed after the toy animatronics are scrapped. And of course, the Y87 happens even before the toy animatronics is scrapped and the second location is closed. So, all we got is that the Y87 happens, the FNAF 2 restaurant opens and it's a grand reopening, and the FNAF 2 animatronics are reduced and scrapped for the Y87, which happens in between when the restaurant's closed and when the restaurant reopens. Now, also, it's the very first time we hear of Fredbear's Family Diner, which we know that happens before, the FNAF, the first Freddy Fazbear's location. And we know that Mangle in that second game gets torn apart and put back together at Attraction, and hence why he's called the Mangle. Now originally, before it was torn apart, it was just called Funtime Foxy. I know that was a bit confusing at first, but now it's the time to get into a couple of questions that are still unanswered in the series. Now, to answer one very interesting questions, what is the deal with the Shadow animatronics? Because I had the feeling that they're employees who used to wear springlock suits. That one of them used to be a security guard who helped check on the animatronics and Fredbear's Family Diner, but has survived at each night. So to me, the untitled employee at the second game that phone guy mentions has to be the employee who used to wear the spring bodysuit at Fredbear's Family Diner. So that to me goes right after the opening of Fredbear's Family Diner. Probably you was hear an announcement of the person who become known as Phone Guy used to be wanted to be hired as security guard to check out the Fredbear's Family Diner location to see anything that went wrong. But because of his complaints of the animatronics moving, he had to quit and actually try to use another job of other jobs at the Fredbear's location. But I assume his death happens a few years after the Fredbear's location, is still open. I believe him and the other employee who used to work at Fredbear's Family Diner both had died, and that's how that's the origin to me of the Shadow animatronics. So that moves here. Because remember, in the next game, Fungi actually mentions there were multiple Springlock figures, not just one. So that is it for explaining the question what is going on with the Shadow animatronics, as well of who was the previous employees of the Night Guard before Jeremy Fitzgerald taken over. Now, just like the fungi, I believe the real identity of the person who becomes Shadow Freddy was a man who was an employee. Now, I already have a name for the guy known as Fungi, so I had to figure out, and how about his name would be Stephen Daniels. So Mr. Stephen Daniels worked at Fredbear's Foundar first as security guard, but then wanted to quit and decided to have another job before his death happens and became known as Shadow Bonnie. So Stephen Daniels would be the person who I assume becomes Shadow Bonnie. So there you go. And we're just gonna name the person who I assume becomes Shadow Freddy nameless for now until we find out what his name could be like. And then I have 3 more questions that are unanswered, like what's going on with, what restaurants were Balloon Boy and what restaurant was JJ actually a part of? What restaurant was she a part of before they decided to swap? I believe she's the part of Chica's Party World. And in the 1980s, and the person who controlled JJ must have been missing for a couple weeks until we found out she had died and became part of a bunch of wanted posters and had an unknown fate in the series. Now, just like Shadow Bonnie, Shadow Freddy, I given them a name, and I assume that after the person who controlled the JJ Animatronic, had happened, I'm assuming that this happened during 1980. That there probably were other animatronics a part of this time, which I get to when we get to the later games in the series. Now I have assumed, which means during 1985, during the closure of the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location during the missing children incident, that they decided, because they realized that the JJ animatronic is controlled, haunted by someone, they decided to leave it, they decided to change, they decided to, change the design of JJ and decided to change it into Balloon Boy for the grand reopening for the second Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And that's my explanation of what is going on with Balloon Boy. Now my 4th and next question that never has been solved is who did the By 87. Now we know a single animatronic did the By 87, but I love to believe it was Mango who did it. And finally, the other question that's never been solved of that's never been solved, that never been and the final question I have that's never been solved is, of course, what other animatronics in the series that we never saw before the events of the first two games. And that explains the timeline test. Now, I have coming up with the actual names of the people I assume that control the JJ animatronic, and the person I assume who controlled the Shadow Freddy animatronic. So I can explain what their names were. To me, the employee that used to work at Fredbear's, who died and became Shadow Freddy, I'm just gonna say his name was Manny Jonathan, and the person who I assume haunted the JJ animatronic, I assume it was a woman who is in fact used to be known as Jessica Allison. So there you go. That's my explanation on how the events of FNAF before FNAF 2 happened. So there you go. See you next time for part 3 for when I discuss FNAF 3 during the Saturday. And don't wait until the day afterwards. I'm gonna explain part in Timeline Test Part 4. What's going on in the other events leading up to FNAF 4. And I will explain 6th location in Pizzeria Simulator next Tuesday, and then near the end of October, finally doing Part 7 and 8 covering Help Wanted and Security Breach. So don't wait too long, and see you next time on the 4th when I finally do my final character explanation for the Crazy World 1 characters. And on the 5th, I finally do my other 2 special reactions. So don't wait too long, and see you next time in the next couple of videos. Bye.